Okay, so now we are starting our experiment number 4. Experiment number 4 is DFT analysis of images. DFT is discrete Fourier transform. So why we are going for Fourier transform and what does it mean? So we have to know that before starting that experiment, right? So first two things, one is Fourier series and Fourier integral. So Fourier series, we can represent any periodic function as sum of pairs of sinusoidal functions using a basic fundamental frequency. So Fourier series, any signal can be represented as a periodic function. You have to keep in mind periodic function. So periodic function is, it will be repeating the same pattern over a period of time. So you will have a cyclic pattern. So let's say if you have a sinusoidal wave, it will have one upper peak and one lower peak. The same pattern will be repeated throughout the wave, right? So that is how you get a sinusoidal wave. So the periodic function is represented and it is as a sum of sinusoidal functions. Sinusoidal means it includes both sine wave and a cosine wave. So sinusoidal component means it can be either a sine wave or a cosine wave. That is what it means. So Fourier series is used to represent a periodic function as a sum of sinusoidal function using a fundamental frequency. So it will be having some basic frequency to repeat the pattern. And Fourier integral, it is any function that can be represented as a combination of sinusoidal function with infinitely many frequencies. So this is a point to be noted. So Fourier transform is like an updated version of Fourier series. So it's like an advanced method. So here you can represent any function. It can be either periodic or it can be aperiodic. So you don't have to restrict your function to be a periodic function. That is one thing. Another thing is, in Fourier series you had a fundamental frequency. So the whole pattern will be having a one kind of frequency, but in Fourier integral you can have infinite number of frequencies. You can have a frequency of 5, you can have a frequency of 500, so it doesn't matter. So you can have any number of frequencies. So that is why you are going for a Fourier integral. So Fourier integral, which is nothing but your Fourier transform. So that is why we go for Fourier transform from Fourier series. So this is like a one dimensional thing. So when you do the same thing for a two dimensional image, you will have the same thing, but why we are going to do that is another important thing. So now we will see why we are going for Fourier transform in an image. So before going to that, why we do Fourier transform of a signal? So in signal analysis, Fourier transform converts your time domain signal to a frequency domain spectrum. So in time domain, let me show you a picture for this. So this is how you look at the signal. So at the left you can see there is a time domain test. So normally you view a signal with respect to time. So let's say you are taking the temperature of the room. You are monitoring the temperature with respect to time. So at 10 o'clock what is the temperature, at 11 o'clock what is the temperature, and then at 12 o'clock what is the temperature. So if you are taking temperature at a certain point of time, then it is discrete time, right? So at a particular interval you are trying to get the temperature value. If you are trying to monitor the temperature throughout the day, so starting from 10 a.m. to night 10 p.m., so then it is a continuous time signal. So with respect to time, if you are looking at the signal, then it is time domain. At the right you can see the frequency domain test. Here what happens is you are converting the time domain to a frequency domain. So when you talk about frequency domain, basically what we are doing is you are looking at the number of cycles. You are not looking at the time, you are just looking at the number of cycles. Let's say you are looking for a let's say you are looking at a signal and it is having multiple frequencies at 2 hertz, 2 kilohertz, 5 hertz, something like that. So at each frequency you will have a peak. That is how you look at the frequency domain. So frequency domain is nothing but basically you are just forgetting about the time and you are just looking at how the signal is varying over the frequency. So at each frequency you will have a peak. So it's like looking at the signal from the side. So how it is represented is, at the middle you can see you in the time domain test all you can see is a waveform, and in the middle if you see you are having two different waves, which means that you are actually making the signal into a multiple combination of sinusoidal frequency. That is what we have seen in the definition, right? So any signal can be represented as a combination of sinusoidal frequencies. So at first wave you have different frequency and the second wave is having different frequency. So at each frequency you will get a peak in the frequency domain. So that is why we go for frequency domain analysis. So to analyze the behavior of the signal, we can easily do it in a frequency domain rather than the time domain. So that is one important application of using Fourier transform, because Fourier transform converts your time domain to frequency domain. So now moving on to our definition. So Fourier series is any periodic function as a sum of sinusoidal function and it has a basic frequency, and Fourier transform or Fourier integral, any function can be represented as a combination of sinusoidal function with infinitely many frequencies. So that is the definition. So we have seen the picture also. Now we will see Fourier transform in 2D images. Fourier transform tries to represent all images as a sum of cosine like images. So this is very important. So like how we did in signals, no? In signals we try to represent the signal as a combination of sinusoidal frequency. Same thing we are trying to do for two-dimensional images also. So when you represent image as a summation of cosine like components, what happens is always the center of the image, it will have the origin of the frequency coordinate system. So if you look at the image, the m axis has the horizontal component and the n axis has the vertical component. So left to right is your m axis and then bottom to top is your vertical component. Center dot, which is 0, 0 is the frequency that has the image average. So the gray level intensity will be, the average intensity will be plotted at the center. So that is how you get the Fourier transform. So high frequencies in vertical direction will cause bright dots away from the center in the vertical direction. So if you look at the figure, when you have at the left side, if you see the left figure, the top left has vertical frequencies which are very high. So when you look at the bottom Fourier transform, you can see that there is a bright dot along the vertical direction. So wherever the frequency is high, there you will have more brightness in the dot. Similarly for horizontal direction, which is your second picture on the right side, so top right you have horizontal frequencies and you can see the dots are bright in the horizontal direction. So this is how you see an image in a Fourier transform. So Fourier transform will have bright dots wherever the frequency is high. Now you can see that it is changing for different types of images. So since the images are real numbers, Fourier transform image is symmetric around the origin. So if this is just about the properties of Fourier transform like scale invariant and symmetry and linearity and all those properties. So whatever you have learnt in the signals, it is applicable for images also. So this is about that. So we can just skip it. And this is important. Why this is important is whenever you are trying to shift an image, whenever you are trying to rotate an image, the effect will be visible in your Fourier transform. So you can see the three images. The first image is a horizontal lines. You can see the brightness along the horizontal line, and when you rotate the same image around 45 degree, you can see the Fourier transform how it is changed. So similarly, you can try for different effects and you can look at the Fourier transform. You can blur the image, you can rotate it by 90 degree, you can scale the image. So whatever you do, you can look at the changes of how the image is actually looking in the Fourier domain. So whatever the image you are taking, you can just rotate and see how the Fourier transform is changing. And then, like I said, at each rotation angle you can see the change in the Fourier transform. And like I said, the scaling effect is also visible. So whenever you are trying to scale the image, you can also see the changes in the Fourier domain. And about the periodic image patterns, again it will have some effect in the Fourier transform. And yes, for different structures and textures, so in images texture is very important. Texture is like how rough your image is. So let's say you have a silk cloth and then you have a like a sandpaper. So the two have different textures. The roughness or the smoothness of the uh, material is changing, right? So when you try to take the picture, that texture will represent how smooth your image is. So for different textured images, you can see how the Fourier transform is changing. So why we are looking at all these things is, all these things are very important for medical images. So we are trying to run Fourier transform for a medical image. So when you look at brain MRI, whatever I have said now, the rotation, scaling, shifting, texture, everything is important. So brain MRI, it's all about your brain's texture and how the brain's rotation is aligned. So when you take the MRI images, they are actually trying to align the images with respect to a atlas. So when you take the MRI, the person might tilt the head, the image might be taken a different axis. So, and another important thing is you are taking multiple images, right? So when you try to create a 3D model from your MRI image, you have to align all the images correctly. Only then you will be able to create a 3D model. If one image is tilted to the right, another image is tilted to the left, when you try to combine all those 2D images together, you won't be able to create a model perfectly. So all this rotation, scaling, everything is important for MRI images. So that's why I'm spending time on this. And these are some of the examples they have given for different pictures, how the Fourier transform is changing. And again, this is for natural images, so you can see the difference here. So for textured and patterned images, the Fourier transform is also changing. Again, for print patterns like dotted structures, you can see multiple bright dots in the Fourier transform. So that is about a short introduction to the Fourier transform. Now we'll move on to the code. This is the code for your Fourier transform. As you can see, at the beginning, the 3 lines are very like preset, or like it's like every code you should have the same 3 lines: CLC, clear all and close all. This is like a mandatory thing, like I said before. And now we are trying to read the brain MRI.png. So you are reading the image using variable A, and then in a separate figure window you are plotting it as a color image. So PNG is again RGB format. So you're plotting the figure. When you're doing it in MATLAB, you can actually subplot and see, but since we are trying in Octave, so we are plotting it in separate figure window. And now we are converting the RGB to gray. So B equal to RGB to gray of A, and you are plotting it in a separate figure of IM show of B, title grayscale image. So you have taken an RGB image and now you are plotting the grayscale image. So input image, grayscale image, 2 images are done. Now you are going for discrete Fourier transform. The thing about discrete Fourier transform is that we are working with digital images. So that's why we are doing digital Fourier transform. That is, discrete Fourier transform. So digital is like when you have discretization in amplitude and also in when you have discretization in both time and amplitude, it is called a digital image, right? So we are going for discrete Fourier transform here, so you have to keep that in mind. So here you are assigning a variable c equal to double of b divided by 255. So you are converting the grayscale image to double format and then dividing it by 255, and F52 is the inbuilt command to run two-dimensional Fourier transform. So b1 is equal to F52 of c, and then now we are taking the log of it 1 plus absolute of b1. So absolute is, it will take only the real values. So like you know, Fourier transform, it has real components and imaginary components, right? E power j omega t, you remember the formula, right? So x of t e power minus j omega t dt. So j omega, that is your imaginary component. So absolute will plot only the real values here. So that's why we are taking the log of 1 plus absolute of b1. So now we are trying to plot the figure I am show of b2, title Fourier transform. Next, inverse Fourier transform. So now we are trying to take the inverse of the Fourier transform. So again here we are taking the real component. So real IFFT of IFFT2 of B1. So IFFT2 is the two-dimensional inverse Fourier transform. So the 2 stands for two-dimensional. So in MATLAB, just FFT does one-dimensional Fourier transform, and when you give the command as FFT2, it does it in 2 dimension. So now we are plotting it in separate figure window, inverse Fourier transform. So this is about the introduction to Fourier transform in image and the code explanation. So now we will see how we are going to run the code in Octave. So I am copying the code from here, copy, we will go to Octave. So here the previous code is here. I am just going to create a new file. Click on the file with the plus symbol on the top left. Again the default thing is my script. I am just changing it as dip experiment 4. So I am just clicking on that. You can see by default it's showing disp of hello world. So I am just erasing it and I'll paste our code here. I'll just copy it again. Copy, then go to Chrome, paste. So now it has been pasted, and now always remember, save the file, click on the save icon and then run. So at the right you can see 4 images displayed: original image, and then its grayscale image, Fourier transform and inverse Fourier transform. So I'll just click on the figure window and let me rotate my screen. So you can see at the top right there is an arrow. This is your last image. So there is a previous image which is Fourier transform, grayscale image, color image. So again you have to save these images. So click on the PNG arrow on the right. So it's asking for download. Rename the file as experiment 4 input. Done. Download. So it is downloaded. Similarly download the grayscale image, Fourier transform, and also its inverse Fourier transform. So basically you are converting it to frequency domain and then you are getting your reconstructed image. So in MRI you would have studied MRI reconstruction and all, right? So there all these processes are happening in the background. So this is like the Fourier transform analysis of the MRI image. So yeah, this is all. So save the images for your report.